Now, Frederick the Great, interesting character. Born in 1712, his father, Frederick William, and he seemed like one of those kind of tyrannical fathers that really pushed his son with extreme discipline and all that. And guess what? Young Frederick didn't like it. Didn't like it. Wasn't into that. You know what he was into? Music, literature. That's what he was into. Mm-hmm. And he actually plotted an escape to England. And he had a couple of his buddies help him out. Had a little plan, put the plan together. I'm gonna get away from my tyrannical dad who's trying to, turn me into this warmongering guy. And the plot got foiled. And the king actually captured one of the two friends that was helping young Frederick and then sentenced him to death.
Dang.
And young Frederick had to watch his friend who had tried to help him get beheaded.
Dang.
Yeah. And despite that, he eventually got on board with becoming a military leader and becoming king. And he gained a reputation for being extremely aggressive on the battlefield. And there's a good quote. I think Napoleon had a good quote about him, which was something along the lines of, if Frederick the Great was still here, we wouldn't be here. Mm-hmm. So he got a lot of respect, and he led very successful campaigns all over Europe. He was known for having an extremely hard work ethic, strong work ethic. Interestingly, he woke up at either 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning every morning. So he was one of those guys. And another interesting thing, at a time when the royals all over Europe and the world, when they kind of flaunted their riches, he wasn't like that. He was kind of like a low profile guy. He allowed free speech. He allowed people to even insult him, which was, obviously his old man didn't have any problem just tossing out the death sentence. Mm. But there was a story about him where there was like a poster hung up that someone had done a drawing that made him kind of look like a buffoon. Mm. And he was going through this village where this thing was hung up, and he kind of went to see what all this commotion, all these people were around. He went to see what all the commotion was about. And he saw this sign hanging up on a post. And his comment was, "Hey, lower that sign down a little bit so people don't hurt their necks while they're looking at it." So he was one of those guys. And, so he kind of had his ego in check, which is definitely good. And his tactics, like I said, there's still, even when you had these rigid sort of ranks in battles, you still had to maneuver the elements around the battlefield. And his tactics were based in mobility and being able to move quickly, being able to move more quickly than the enemy. And he focused on drill and more drilling. And this is another interesting thing. In his opinion, because drill, I don't know if you know this, but when we say drill in the military, we're talking about, you ever seen like a drill team with the rifles and they march and everything's perfect?
A Few Good Men at the beginning. Remember that movie? At the beginning, it's like everyone's in
that's
in
what
sequence.
It is. I can't remember that. I've definitely seen the movie, but I can't remember that particular part. But yeah, that's what drill is. So when people talk about drill, that's what they're talking about. And he was saying, he was of the opinion that people often mistook drill for the art of war. No, they're two different things. And they're important, and there's a reason why you do drill. And it teaches you certain things. It teaches you a lot about discipline. It teaches you about responding to orders quickly. It teaches you how to work together as a team. So there's definitely a reason for drill, but that is not the art of war at all.